Okay, so now we continue analyzing this example between Grandmasters Sutovsky and Bambelli. Okay, let's get started. White plays e4, black plays c5, which is the Sicilian defense. As white, we play knight to f3. Black plays at d6. And as you know, the best way of playing against Sicilian is by opening that position. So here I like d4. Black takes on d4. We take with a knight. And black plays knight f6, knight c3, and a6. Here we get one of the main Sicilians, which is the Najdorf variation. And, well, you know, black can also try playing c6 here, which is the dragon variation. Or he can also try after knight c3, he can also try playing knight c6, which is the Richter-Rauser variation, or also known as the classical Sicilian. The reason black plays a6 is, you know, basically he wants to control the b5 square, and then he's preparing a move like e5. But you know, before playing e5, he needs to control the b5 square. Let's see why. If he goes e5 right here, problem is, first of all, he's creating weaknesses in his position, like the d5 square and the d6 square. And what is more, as white, we have the chance of playing bishop b5 check. Here we'll understand why a6 it's so important here. A6 it's stopping this bishop b5 check. After bishop b5, well, here black has two options. He can play knight b7 or bishop d7. If he goes knight b7, then we can just play knight f5, and we are putting a lot of pressure on the d6 pawn. As you can see, black can't take this knight. And as we said, right, d6 it's quite weak. Another nice idea would be playing something like this, maybe maneuvering with our knight till we reach the d5 square. This is great. And if he plays bishop d7, here we can take. Check. And the thing is, well, imagine we move the knight. Doesn't matter much, you know, the square, but the thing is here, from the positional point of view, we are much better as white. Why? Because let's take a look at our bishops. Our bishop, it's a nice bishop. I mean, we have a lot of good diagonals for it, whereas black's bishop, it's not cool. It's this bishop, it's what we call a tall pawn. You know, it's crashing into d6. This bishop, it's lacking good diagonals. So that is why you know, from the positional point of view, this is much better for us. And we don't have to forget the d6 pawn. Usually this pawn it's weak in Sicilian, and the d5 square too. So these variations are proving that, you know, black needs to play a6 to stop us from playing bishop b5 check. And here Sutovsky plays bishop to e2. As you know, in Sicilian, we have a wide choice, especially in the Najdorf variation. Bishop e2, it's one of the possibilities for white. As white, we can also try playing bishop c5, for instance, which is a sharp variation. Usually as white, we continue with f4, queen f3, then we try castling queenside and attacking. We can also play positional lines like c3 and bishop c2, or a4 trying to stop b5. White could also play the English attack by playing f3 plus c4, bishop e3 too. A lot of possibilities. Maybe bishop c4. This is, Bobby's Fischer favorite. Attacking, on f7. Again, we have a wide choice as white, and we play bishop e2. This looks like a peaceful line, as white we are gonna castle short, and we are also finishing our development. However, we are gonna attack at kingside, as you'll see. Here black plays e6. I like this setup, this Chevanin setup for black, because he's always controlling the key squares in the center. But as white, we'll be able to win some space in the center as well. After e6, well, here white plays f4 first. I'm not sure if there's any difference in the move order. I mean, we could castle first and then we can play f4. It's just the move order. I don't think there is a big difference. Black plays bishop to e7. Well, this makes a lot of sense. And here white plays bishop e3. And, well, maybe now when I see this move order, I believe, white, as we said, he's probably castling kingside in this line. But maybe, he's trying to play something like this, and in some variations, depending on what black plays, maybe we can just castle queenside too. Usually in this line, white tries castling short. But, in openings, we never know. There's always room for improvements. Okay, black castles here. And okay, white decides to castle as well. And okay, here black plays queen c7. I played the Sicilian in my career, and when I see this position, I would tell queen c7 it's a good move, and in fact I think it's playable. But in the opening, especially when you study openings, you have to see a lot of games, and here, if you study this line, you'll realize that probably queen c7 is not the best move order for black. You'll see why here. I guess knight c6 it's better, and we'll explain why. Here black plays queen c7 and white plays c4, which looks like a nice move, because we are attacking already. We are pushing pawns in front of our king, true, but we are winning a lot of space. And, once we play c5, we'll be able to attack. The thing is, usually when someone attacks on the wing, your opponent should be prepared to counterattack in the center. That is why I like knight c6. This move is more flexible. Black is not worried about a move like this, of course, because then he's just bringing a side pawn to the center by playing b takes c6, and this is nice for black. After b takes c6, he's also supporting the d5 push, So this couldn't be much better for us. So for black, right? I'm talking from the black side here. So when black plays knight c6, then he can continue with his ideas, at queenside probably. But the thing is, if white goes c4 here, then black has a lot of ways of reacting against this. Remember this concept: when someone attacks on the wing, you should try attacking in the center. Here, for instance, black could go knight takes d4. And, for instance, if queen takes, I like e5 here. This move looks powerful enough, because after e5, we are freeing our bishop's c8 diagonal. The c4 pawn is also hanging. And, if that position gets open, this is gonna favor black, because our king is on c1 and we played c4 already. So it's like this. I don't like this for white, to be honest. And if bishop takes d4, I can also consider playing this anyway. Maybe we are sacrificing a pawn as black, but we are gonna have a big compensation. His king is way too open here, and even if I can play something like bishop e6 here for black, I'm happy, because all my pieces are out. My pawn structure it's much better, and in the opening, the initiative it's much more important than material. I don't like white's king position here. That is why I think knight c6 it's a better move order. As black, we are prepared to face a move like c4. Of course, here white maybe has to play a4, trying to stop, b5, and probably he can continue with something like knight b3, trying to play like this. I guess I would play this way as white. But, as I always tell, if you want to make your own mind about this line, you'll have to see a lot of games. Because, analyzing a game, it's always great, but, opening-wise, you can study theory, but you have to also study the plans, And in order to study the plans, you'll have to see a bunch of games. Okay, so here we see queen c7, and white reacts with c4. c5 is coming, and well, I guess if I play e5 here, I can also consider playing something like this as white, because now we are trying to get his bishop pair, and this is great, because the bishop pair it's a nice weapon, especially in open positions. So that is why I like this for white. In the previous variation, black was able to take on d4 before playing e5. So here, black plays b5, and okay. Well, this looks interesting. Yeah, he wants to play bishop to b7, and b4 happens to be another threat. I would like to say that I guess this tournament was played in 1996, yeah, and in the same tournament, same year, we have a game between Alexei Shirov against Judith Polgar, where Polgar plays rook e8. But I think, here white gets a big attack after this. I recommend, you can study this game carefully because it's really nice. After f5, here black plays bishop f8, trying to protect e6. He can't move this pawn. Then knight d5 would be too powerful. That is why she played bishop f8. But here comes this bomb. knight takes e6. I guess it was prepared by Shirov. And after f takes this move, here white has a strong attack. I strongly recommend you study this game. It's nice, And, well, in this game black plays differently, but this is a nice variation for white. Because, okay, we are sacrificing a piece, but, we had a nice strategy here, advancing our pawns, and we are also making use of our development advantage. So, that counts too. b5. Well, then as white, we play c5. We are attacking this knight on f6. And after this, I like this move, bishop d3. Looks a bit slow actually, because as white we could have played f5 as well. And this is pretty interesting too, because we are attacking the e6 pawn, and if he moves it, then we can just play knight e5 again. This in-between move is too powerful. And, well, maybe he can play knight e5 or knight c5. The thing is, when he moves the knight, trying to defend the e6 pawn, here as white, I guess we can consider playing something like f6. I don't know if we are winning right here, but what is true is, we are opening his king. If he takes, then we are gonna just take back, and the c file is open. And if he plays bishop d8, we can consider taking on c7. And, I guess we are better. However, it's not that clear yet. He's defending there. I like bishop d3. Sometimes it's great to slow down a bit. But here, actually, this move is not that slow. This diagonal, it's great. And actually, when we move the bishop, we want to offer our queen, some squares. If I play something like queen h5, I'm bringing the queen to the attack. I really like this. I think this is nice. He plays rook e8. Probably he's trying to play something like this. He also needs to guard e6 plus h7. But as white, we don't have to slow down. We have a much stronger development. And here, we have this possibility as well, trying to play rook f3 plus rook h3. So he plays g6. Well, yeah, he's trying to push the queen back. Here we can, we can tell a concept. In this position, g6 might be correct, but usually when you advance, pawns in front of your king, you have to be careful because you can't move them back. And what I mean is, one day we'll play f5 and we are gonna be attacking two pawns now. It's gonna be easier for us to open lines around his king. So black plays b4. Yeah, he was attacking the knight, but I don't mind playing knight e2 here because I'm not wasting a tempo. This knight could be useful. It wasn't doing much on c3, and now this knight could be helpful, to attack at kingside one day. So I don't mind playing, my knight back to e2. And he plays bishop b7. Well, little by little, he's also finishing his development. But, we have a strong initiative and we have all our pieces doing something actually. Well, rook a1 is not doing much, but the rest, they are quite powerful. So rook to f3. Despite the fact that we are placing the rook in the same diagonal as his bishop, we can try playing something like this. And the other rook on a1, which wasn't doing much, we can try playing this rook to f1. and then all our pieces would be attacking. And here black plays h5. This move, well, I'm not sure actually. The thing is, yeah, we can't take en passant here because, you know, the queen is behind, but yeah, looks like black, he's taking the only chance to close the h file. He was too worried about this move, rook h3. And maybe if he plays like this, okay, he's defending this, but you know, he's gonna have to face a strong attack like this in the future, you know. If we can try playing f5 plus f6 and then trying to mate him on c7, I understand, you know, if he plays h5, because playing knight f8, it's not comfortable, you know. And I think we can just continue firing as white here. Rook f1, rook h3, and then f5. There are not so many ways, you know, for black to stop this actually. So, I mean, I understand this h5. Fortunately for black, you know, he's closing the h file, but you know, not for a long time. I think we can easily remove this pawn from h5, and we don't mind sacrificing material. You know, when we played knight e2, we said, you know, that knight could be useful. Well, now we can try sacrificing this knight on h5, and then we are opening a lot of lines. He plays bishop f8, and now we just sacrifice. We are opening lines he has to take. Otherwise, you know, we are just winning a pawn. We can just move our knight somewhere, and we'll deliver mate on the h file. So he takes and queen takes, right? Yeah, queen takes. The idea is simple, you know, rook h3 and then mate on the h file. But black, he's defending, he's up a piece. You know, we don't have to underestimate our opponent's position. When you're sacrificing a piece and you're attacking, you know, don't underestimate your opponent's defenses, because here black's position, okay, doesn't look great, but if he's defending successfully, then he's gonna be up a piece, and then we are gonna be in trouble. I mean, we have to play the best moves here. We can't relax yet. f5, I like this move. We are trying, you know, to take here. We are opening new lines around his king, and maybe f6 is a threat too. So that is why he takes, and I like knight takes. We are about to get rid of, you know, one of the defenders, which is the bishop on c7, and we still have the same threats, you know, on the f file. So he plays knight f8. He's trying to defend the h7 square, because if he goes knight e5, I guess we can play this, and this threat is just too much. Knight f8, knight takes c7. As we said, you know, we are getting rid of the defender, and as we know, bishops are so important for the attack and for defense as well. Check. Here after this check, you know, I don't think black can survive for a long time. We have a strong attack here. We have a lot of pieces attacking. Well, if king c8, then we can just mate him on h8. We have to realize that, you know, black is up some material, but, you know, his material, his extra material, it's like sleeping at queenside. So it's like, you know, if this material is not playing, you know, he doesn't have any advantage. He has to play rook e5 and then rook a f1. That was the only piece which wasn't doing much. Now we bring this rook to the game. We threat rook takes f7. Black can't stop this move, and there's no rush. You know, we don't have to take immediately, as you know, this rook is under a pin. So here black resigns. It was a nice game. I like White's strategy after pushing c4 and c5. I think it was also correct when he played bishop d3, slowing down a little and then bringing the queen. You know, we had a very nice middle game, and we took an advantage of Black's mistakes. So I hope you enjoyed this game. Thank you.